ASVAB's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject Wise Compilation 2017, www.asvaba.com, page 1. Q.1 Which of the following processes contributes maximum to the power generation in India? A. Hydropower, B. Thermal power, C. Nuclear power, D. Solar and wind power. Q.1 Solution B. The All India installed power generation capacity by November 2015 is 282,023.78 MW, comprising 196,204.44 MW thermal, 42,623.42 MW hydro, 5.780 MW nuclear, and 37,415.53 MW RES. Q. The Government of India had launched a very ambitious initiative of ultra-mega power projects. Which of the following statements are correct about UMPPs? 1. They are large hydropower projects to tap the full potential of unused streams. 2. Each UMPP will have the capacity of generating 10,000 MW of power. 3. Till now 10 UMPPs have already been sanctioned by the Government of India. Select the code from below, A1 Entity 2 and 3, C1 and 3D, none of the above. Q. Solution D. The Government of India had launched an initiative for the development of coal-based ultra-mega power projects UMPPs, each with a capacity of 4,000 MW. The objective of the initiative is to ensure cheaper tariffs utilizing economies of scale, catering to the need of a number of states, and to mitigate the risk relating to tie-up of land, fuel, water and other statutory clearances, etc. The projects are being awarded to the successful developers on the basis of tariff-based competitive bidding through employing supercritical technology to tie up for necessary inputs and clearances such as provision of site, fuel through captive mining blocks, water and in principle environment and forest clearances. Project-specific shell companies (SPVs) are set up as wholly owned subsidiaries of the Power Finance Corporation Limited. PFC, the nodal agency for these projects. These SPVs, along with the various clearances, etc., are subsequently transferred to the successful developer. For UMPPs, namely Sasson in Madhya Pradesh, Mundra in Gujarat, Krishnapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. ASVAB's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject Wise Compilation 2017, www.asvaba.com, page 2. And Tilea in Jharkhand have already been awarded to successful bidders and are at different stages of development. Q.3 Which of the following statements are correct about National Domestic Efficient Lighting Program? A. It urged people to use CFLs in place of tube lights and filament bulbs. B. It urged people to use only 5-star efficiency rating appliances. C. It promoted rural electrification. D. None of the above. Q.3 Solution D. Domestic Efficient Lighting Program (DEL) was launched in January 2015, urging the people to use LED bulbs in place of incandescent bulbs, tube lights and CFL bulbs, as they are more efficient, long-lasting and economical in their life cycle duration. Q.4 The rate of biomass production in an ecosystem is called productivity. Which of the following statements are correct about it? 1. Net primary productivity (NPP) is less than gross primary productivity (GPP). 2. Net primary productivity (NPP) is the available biomass for the consumption of heterotrophs. Select the code from following: A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. Q. For solution C. Primary production is defined as the amount of biomass for organic matter produced per unit area over a time period by plants during photosynthesis. It is expressed in terms of weight G-2 or energy kilocalories into. The rate of biomass production is called productivity. It is expressed in terms of G2 years -1 or kilocalories M2 years 1 to compare the productivity of different ecosystems. It can be divided into gross primary productivity (GPP) and net primary productivity (NPP). Gross primary productivity of an ecosystem is the rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis. A considerable amount of GPP is utilized by plants in respiration. Gross primary productivity minus respiration losses is the net primary productivity (NPP). GPP equals NPP. ASVAB's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject Wise Compilation 2017, www.yazaba.com, page 3. Net primary productivity is the available biomass for the consumption to heterotrophs, herbivores, and decomposers. Secondary productivity is defined as the rate of formation of new organic matter by consumers. Q.5 Which of the following statements correctly explains the process of catabolism? A. Seeping of water-soluble organic material into lower soil horizons. B. Breaking up or detritus material into smaller fragments. C. Breaking up of larger organic molecules into smaller inorganic molecules. D. Use of inorganic molecules by plants to form larger organic molecules. Q.5 Solution C. The important steps in the process of decomposition are fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, humidification, and mineralization. Detritivores, e.g., earthworm, break down detritus into smaller particles. This process is called fragmentation. By the process of leaching, water-soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil horizon and get precipitated as unavailable salts. Bacterial and fungal enzymes degrade detritus into simpler inorganic substances. This process is called as catabolism. Q.6 Which of the following factors play an important role in determining the rate of decomposition of detritus material? 1. Chemical composition of detritus. 2. Temperature. 3. Soil moisture. Select the code from below. A1 only, B2 and 3, C1 and 2D, all of the above. Q.6 Solution D. The rate of decomposition is controlled by chemical composition of detritus and climatic factors. In a particular climatic condition, decomposition rate is lower if detritus is rich in lignin and chitin, and quicker if detritus is rich in nitrogen and water-soluble substances like sugars. Temperature and soil moisture are the most important climatic factors that regulate decomposition through their effects on the activities of soil microbes. Warm and moist environment favor decomposition, whereas low temperature and anaerobioses inhibit decomposition, resulting in build-up of organic materials. Yazaba's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject-Wise Compilation 2017, www.yazaba.com, page 4. Q.7 DC hydrothermal vents were recently discovered by the scientists. Which of the following statements are correct about hydrothermal ecosystems? 1. The organisms are not dependent on sunlight for food production. 2. Bacteria create energy using hydrogen sulfide through the process of chemosynthesis. 3. Only microorganisms can survive in this environment. Select the code from below. A1 and B2 and 3, C1 and 3D, all of the above. Q.7 Solution A. Deep sea hydrothermal vents form as a result of volcanic activity on the ocean floor. Water seeps through cracks in the Earth's crust, dissolving metals and minerals as it becomes superheated from nearby magma. This water, which can reach temperatures of 400 degrees C, eventually rises back through the ocean floor, erupting as a geyser from a hydrothermal vent. The dissolved minerals and metals precipitate on contact with the cold seawater, forming a chimney around the vent. When scientists first discovered these vents in the 1970s, they were amazed to find thriving communities of shrimp, crabs, giant tubby worms, clams, slugs, anemones, and fish. These rare geological features turned out to be oases on the otherwise sparsely inhabited ocean floor, with a biomass equivalent to that of the rainforest. Instead of sunlight, vent light relies on hydrogen sulfide, more commonly known as rod and egg gas and toxic to most land-based life. In a process called chemosynthesis, specialized bacteria create energy from the hydrogen sulfide present in the mineral-rich water pouring out of the vents. These bacteria form the bottom level of the food chain in these ecosystems, upon which all other vent animals are dependent. Q.8 Based on the source of their food, organisms occupy a special place in the food chain. This position is called AHB Trophic Level Sea Horizon D Food Web. Yazaba's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject-Wise Compilation 2017, www.yazaba.com, page 5. Q.8 Solution B. Organisms occupy a place in the natural surroundings or in a community according to their feeding relationship with other organisms. Based on the source of their nutrition or food, organisms occupy a specific place in the food chain that is known as their trophic level. Producers belong to the first trophic level, herbivores primary consumer to the second, and carnivores secondary consumer to the third. Q.9 Consider the following statements. 1. Pyramid of number is always upright because the number of primary producers is always larger than the number of organisms dependent upon them. 2. Pyramid of energy is always upright because at each trophic level some of the energy is lost as heat. Which of the above statements are incorrect? A. 1 only B. 2 only C. Both 1 and 2 D. Neither 1 nor 2. Q.9 Solution A. In most ecosystems, all the pyramids of number, of energy and biomass are upright, i.e., producers are more in number and biomass than the herbivores, and herbivores are more in number and biomass than the carnivores. Also, energy at a lower trophic level is always more than at a higher level. But there are exceptions to this trend. In forests, the number of trees is less than the number of organisms dependent on each tree, insects, birds, etc. Even in pyramid of biomass, there are exceptions like sea ecosystem. Very large organisms are dependent on phytoplanktons. Pyramid of energy is always upright, can't never be inverted, because when energy flows from a particular trophic level to the next trophic level, some energy is always lost as heat at each step. Each bar in the energy pyramid indicates the amount of energy present at each trophic level in a given time or annually per unit area. Q.10 Which of the following statements are correct about the process of secondary succession? Yezaba's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject Wise Compilation 2017, www.yezaba.com, page 6. 1. Secondary succession is much slower than the primary succession. 2. Secondary succession begins in areas where natural vegetation has been destroyed. Select a code from below. A. 1 only B. 2 only C. Both 1 and 2 D. Neither 1 nor 2. Q.10 Solution B. Ecological succession, the process by which the structure of a biological community evolves over time. Two different types of succession, primary and secondary, have been distinguished. Primary succession occurs in essentially lifeless areas, regions in which the soil is incapable of sustaining life as a result of such factors as lava flows, newly formed sand dunes, or rocks left from a retreating glacier. Secondary succession occurs in areas where a community that previously existed has been removed. It is typified by smaller scale disturbances that do not eliminate all life and nutrients from the environment. Secondary succession begins in areas where natural biotic communities have been destroyed, such as in abandoned farmlands, burned or cut forests, lands that have been flooded. Since some soil or sediment is present, succession is faster than primary succession. Description of ecological succession usually focuses on changes in vegetation. However, these vegetational changes in turn affect food and shelter for various types of animals. Thus, as succession proceeds, the numbers and types of animals and decomposers also change. At any time during primary or secondary succession, natural or human-induced disturbances, fire, deforestation, etc. can convert a particular stage of succession to an earlier stage. Also, such disturbances create new conditions that encourage some species and discourage or eliminate other species. Q.11 Phosphorus is an important element used in metabolism and as a building up material in organisms. Which of the statements are correct for phosphorus cycle? 1. Rocks are the major reservoir of phosphorus, which contains phosphorus in the form of phosphates. 2. Animals obtain phosphorus indirectly through plants. 3. There is no respiratory release of phosphorus in atmosphere. Select a code from following. A1 and B2 and 3. Yezaba's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject Wise Compilation 2017, www.yezaba.com, page 7. C1 and 3D, all of the above. Q.11 Solution D. Phosphorus is a major constituent of biological membranes, nucleic acids and cellular energy transfer systems. Many animals also need large quantities of this element to make shells, bones and teeth. The natural reservoir of phosphorus is rock, which contains phosphorus in the form of phosphates. When rocks are weathered, Minute amounts of these phosphates dissolve in soil solution and are absorbed by the roots of the plants. Herbivores and other animals obtain this element from plants. The waste products and the dead organisms are decomposed by phosphate-solubilizing bacteria releasing phosphorus. Unlike carbon cycle, there is no respiratory release of phosphorus into atmosphere. Q.12 The benefits that people obtain from ecosystems are termed as ecosystem services. Which of the following are the types of ecosystem services? 1. Provisioning services. 2. Regulating services. 3. Habitat services. 4. Cultural services. Select a code from below, A1, 2, and 3, B2, 3, and 4, C1, and 2D, all of the above. Q.12 Solution D. Ecosystem services are the direct and indirect contributions of ecosystems to human well-being. Ecosystem services can be categorized in 4 main types. Provisioning services are the products obtained from ecosystems such as food, fresh water, wood, fiber, genetic resources, and medicines. YESABA's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject-Wise Compilation 2017, www.yesaba.com, page 8. Regulating services are defined as the benefits obtained from the regulation of ecosystem processes such as climate regulation, natural hazard regulation, water purification and waste management, pollination or pest control. Habitat services highlight the importance of ecosystems to provide habitat for migratory species and to maintain the viability of gene pools. Cultural services include non-material benefits that people obtain from ecosystems such as spiritual enrichment, intellectual development, recreation, and aesthetic values. Q.13 Lichens are one of the most important pioneer species. Which of the following statements are correct about lichens? 1. Lichens are not single organisms, but they are formed by symbiotic relationship between algae and fungi. 2. Lichens are found only in high alpine areas where moisture is scarce. Select a code from following. A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. Q.13 Solution A. The lichen is not a single organism. Rather, it is a symbiosis between different organisms, a fungus and an alga or cyanobacterium. The non-fungal partner contains chlorophyll and is called the photobiont. The fungal partner may be referred to as a mycobiont. While most lichen partnerships consist of one mycobiont and one photobiont, that's not universal, for there are lichens with more than one photobiont partner. When looked at microscopically, the fungal partner is seen to be composed of filamentous cells, and each such filament is called a hypha. These hyphae grow by extension and make branch that keep a constant diameter. Amongst the photobionts there are those that are also filamentous in structure, while others are composed of chains or clusters of more or less globo cells. Given that they contain chlorophyll, algae and cyanobacteria can manufacture carbohydrates with the help of light via the process of photosynthesis. By contrast, fungi do not make their own carbohydrates. Every fungus needs existing organic matter from which. YESABA's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject-Wise Compilation 2017, www.yesaba.com, page 9. To obtain carbon. In a lichen, some of the carbohydrate produced by the photobiont is of course used by the photobiont, but some is harvested by the mycobiont. Lichens occur from sea level to high alpine elevations, in many environmental conditions, and can grow on almost any surface. Lichens are abundant, growing on bark, leaves, mosses, on other lichens, and hanging from branches, living on thin air epiphytes in rainforests and in temperate woodland. They grow on rock, walls, gravestones, roofs, exposed soil surfaces, and in the soil as part of a biological soil crust. Different kinds of lichens have adapted to survive in some of the most extreme environments on Earth: Arctic tundra, hot dry deserts, rocky coasts, and toxic slag heaps. They can even live inside solid rock, growing between the grains. Q.14 Bhopal gas tragedy has been one of the most deadliest industrial hazards in the history of India. Which of the following gas was released causing the disaster? A. Potassium cyanide. B. Potassium isocyanate. C. Methyl isocyanate. D. Phosgene. Q.14 Solution C. The Bhopal disaster or Bhopal gas tragedy was an industrial accident. It happened at a Union Carbide subsidiary pesticide plant in the city of Bhopal, India. On December 3, 1984, the plant released 42 tons of toxic methyl isocyanate gas, exposing more than 500,000 people to toxic gases. The mixture of poisonous gases flooded the city, causing great panic as people woke up with a burning sensation in their lungs. Thousands died immediately from the effects of the gas. Many were trampled in the panic that followed. The first official immediate death toll was 2,259. Another estimate is that 8,000 died within 2 weeks, that an additional 8,000 have since died from gas-related diseases. Q.15 If a large amount of organic waste is dumped in a lake, it will A decrease, B increase, C remains unchanged, D can increase or decrease. Q.15 Solution B. YESABA's 60-day plan, UPSC Prelims Environment Subject Wise Compilation 2017. www.yesaba.com Page 10. Biochemical oxygen demand BOD, also called biological oxygen demand, is the amount of dissolved oxygen needed by demanded by aerobic biological organisms to break down organic material present in a given water sample at certain temperature over a specific time period. The BOD value is most commonly expressed in milligrams of oxygen consumed per liter per sample during 5 days of incubation at 20 degrees C and is often used as a surrogate of the degree of organic pollution of water. With increase in organic waste, the requirement of oxygen by the microbes to decompose it will also increase.